Welcome to my voiceover world. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm extraordinary. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Like I
Thanks
said,
for
I
willing to
sound,
do this.
yeah, absolutely, man. I sound sexy now. I sound like I'm Batman. Yeah, I like it.
Not to worry. You're not the only one who goes through that. Everybody else
Thanks.
that I've interviewed with, some of them go through that too. So yeah, you're not the only one.
Of course. So, what can I do for you today, my friend? What are we going to talk about?
Well, before that, I like to tell you this, but I've been getting to know so much about you because of your character, Hanataro from Bleach. And to be honest with you, I have been getting to know
Mhm.
about your voice acting career because of that character. To be honest, I never knew
Yeah,
about anime back then, but then by
yeah,
2016, because of that show, One Punch Man, it opened my eyes to anime. It helped me discover a lot of what anime is like, and it's the reason why I've discovered a lot of voice actors, including you, Spike, and it's what led to my desire of wanting to get myself into the voice acting industry, working with you and everybody else, which is why my videos that I've done for you and everybody else for years has did got like 1,000 views, all because
yeah,
of a lot of actors supporting me.
sure. Well,
And I
that's wonderful.
included I included you in my videos too, to give you
Oh,
recognition.
well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Always. Now, there are many questions I've been wanting to ask you right there. So,
Okay.
hmm, you've been part of so many incredible projects, right? So, how does it feel about being in so many different projects that you've brought to be the characters that you've brought?
Well, it's an honor, number one. As an actor, you get to work. And what's the best thing about being an actor is working. We love to work. Um, and I'm just very, very fortunate that back in the early 90s, mid 90s, that I was in the right place at the right time. I was in Houston, Texas. That's where I was born and raised, and that's where AD Vision started. And that was kind of the precursor to all of this. They were like the main thing, and I was just there. So me and Amanda Wynn Lee and lots of other folks, started off back then, and it just, we didn't really know how big this was going to get in any way, shape, or form. We were like, cool. It's a job. We're doing our thing. We're having fun, and um, and now it's like everywhere. Um, and I mean, I've done a lot, and but the recent stuff, it's just taken off so crazy like, and I moved, so I've been kind of out of the loop for a bit here. Had a whole lot of things going on in my life, Australia and Burbank and Texas and all kinds of stuff. So I don't have a lot of recent stuff, except I did do the Black Butler. I reprised my role as Snake in the latest iteration of that, and it's just been great. What's really cool is that some of these characters you do, and then 10 years later, oh, by the way, we're going to do that character again. What cool. And that's what happened with Evangelion when I was in Australia. So it's awesome. It's a lot of fun, and I'd like to do a whole lot more.
Well, that's interesting to hear from you, which of course leads me to this most important question I've been wanting to ask you, but what inspired you to pursue voice acting, and what is the best decision you have made so far that has excelled into your career? For what purpose?
Interesting questions. Well, number one, I didn't set out to be a voice actor. I just set out to be an actor, and I was in Houston. That was the voice acting was part of it because when you get to LA, they try to pigeonhole you into something. It's like, oh, you're a voice actor in anime or video games or animation or whatever. You're this, you're that. But in Houston, it was we do everything. I was in films, I was in commercials, I was in radio, I was in TV. You did everything, and that was my journey. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I went to college for. I got a baccalaureate degree from the honors program, majoring in drama. And by the way, nobody cares. It's like it's on the wall right there, and nobody cares. Um, And that's fine because that's acting. And but I learned a lot of great stuff there. And so that's what I set off to do. But when I moved to LA, it just kind of that's the area that I specialized in. I just ended up doing lots of voiceover and it kept going. So it was great. Best decision I ever made was to marry my wife, which today is our 11-year anniversary. And yeah, that was the best decision I've made in my life.
Wow, that's interesting. So that's how you got into voice acting. Because of that experience of you going to college and pretty much because of your wife, who is like the most loveliest person you've ever met, doing a lot of great stuff in life. To be real honest, I'm actually in college right now, and that I'm actually taking theater and pretty much
Excellent.
learning a lot of stuff there. And you want to know the most funny thing is?
Hmm.
The most funny thing is that a certain individual I've interviewed with, named Tim Frindler, the National Association of Voice Acting president,
Hmm.
he told me himself that he went to college at the same age as me. And I was like,
Yeah.
wait, you went to college as the same age as me? I'm in 22 right now in college. And he was like, no way. And he was like, yep, small world, isn't it? And he was like, oh man, this is just one big awesome thing ever. So
Nice.
yeah, that's why I've come to learn about what voice acting is like. Plus, my theater teacher is actually involved in One Piece. And that's
Nice.
why learning from someone from One Piece could give me the chance to develop my communication skills to so that for my voice acting career to be excelled, I can finally just master my way of talking and
Absolutely.
from how I speak right
Right.
now.
You got a great voice.
Everybody says that to me. Dorothy Fawn, Kyle Abear, Mick Lauer, all of them. They
Yeah.
all say that to me as well.
It's
Even
true.
Kyle Abear.
Yeah. I know Kylie,
Yep,
my buddy.
the autistic voice actor who inspired me to do voice acting, and he is inspired by Mel Blanc to do voice acting, which
I
is like
think
I call
every
connection.
voice actor, every voice actor is inspired by Mel Blanc.
You could say that again, but
Yeah. Blank,
now,
Blanc. I don't know.
now, there are many questions I've been wanting to ask you about your characters, but
I'll try to answer them. I can't say that I can for sure.
don't worry, you're not the only one. I've been through that a lot with other people, so do you remember the very first character that you ever voiced as? Like your first ever audition, I mean.
Dude, it was, I think I was a commander or something in Super Atragon. That was the first one I ever did.
Interesting. Super
Yeah.
Atragon.
Yeah.
So that was the first ever audition. I just wanted to make sure so that just in case if I ever do a voice showcase for you, just like how I did for many others for years, for Brad Venable, Billy Kometz, Kevin T. Collins, all of them, it just takes a lot of chronological order to make
Right.
sure they show the development of their voice acting for years.
Yeah.
And to put it plainly, it gained a lot of my videos of the voice showcases were a success because of the hard work I've done for them. Right now, I'm doing one for someone that in order to honor his legacy,
Yeah.
and his name is
Awesome.
Dave Mello.
Dave Mello. Okay, cool.
Yes, I'm
Very cool.
doing a voice showcase for him to honor his legacy. So
Nice.
yeah, one day you, my friend, will do the same for
Oh,
the
excellent.
for the sake of helping you be remembered. Because no matter how other people say about you, you will always be a very awesome person who is willing to do everything to be very awesome in anime.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, man.
That is what I do. Now then, the questions about your characters will be this, but you remember the character by the name of Rollo from Code Geass, right?
Oh, of
How
course.
does it feel about stepping into the role of Rollo in Code Geass? What do you love most about voicing him?
Hmm. Gosh, it was a while back, but I remember the sessions. I remember the studio and the sessions and the director, and it was interesting because it was. Oh, I was working with Johnny Young Bosch, as well. We never see each other in the booths, but he's great. He's a great guy. Let's see. Wow, Rollo was an interesting character because he was evil and yet not. And I just remember, I still get people tell me on the when on his death scene when they're like, "Dude, that made me cry." I'm like, "Yes," and I did my job.
Well, that's most interesting to hear from you, Spike. But you want to know something? I did a video about Code Geass about three
Yeah.
years ago, putting you into it in order to help honor the legacy of the show and stuff. Plus, you want to know
Nice.
something?
Mm,
There were three recap films of Code Geass that were never English dubbed, and that it adds an additional layer to your character, and that revealing everything that was never shown in the original, which is why I'm telling you
interesting.
this. And you want to know what? And you want to know something?
Mm,
The real reasoning why the three recap films should be English dubbed is because Gurren Lagann did the exact same thing 1 year ago. So
mm.
that's why, if those three recap films of Code Geass doesn't get English dubbed, then it's over for the entire anime. And since I know that NYAV Post, owned by Michael Nicholas, did the English dubbing of a Code Geass series, it had me thinking that having them doing the three recap films could help redeem everything right there in order to finally do everything that needs to be done. Just like Gurren Lagann did, Code Geass must do the same, because otherwise it ceased to exist.
Well, that could be true. If they do it, I'm down. I mean,
Yes,
I
es-
won't sound like this. I'll sound better than this, but
and that's the whole point about it. Plus, an additional scene with you will make things even better. So yeah,
I think
that's
it'd
why
be
I'm
great.
telling you. Now, the other questions about your characters will be this, but strap yourselves in for this one. But do you remember the show by the name of Mar, right? The name of the character Genta? What do you love most about being the character Genta in the show Mar? Do you relate to him by all means?
I loved it. It was one of my favorite shows. And it's Mare. It's Maruchan Awakens Romance, I think is what it's called. Mare. And then it's Ginta. And I still remember because I signed something just at my last convention in Houston. Somebody brought me a Ginta. And I was like, what? And and they had a Bobo. So that Bobo was Michael McConaughey, and he was Bobo, the voice of Bobo. And I just remember all the fun battles we had. Oh, Bobo and blah, 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 it was a lot of fun. And I thought they did a set. They were going to do a second season or a second movie or something. It just never happened. But man, I loved that. Did that over at PCB Productions with Keith and Val. It was just, it was amazing. I loved it.
Hmm. Well, that's most interesting to hear from you. That you being the main protagonist of that show was the most brilliant thing that has ever happened.
Oh,
Plus, I
well, thank
give
you.
props to Keith and Valerie Abram, who I got to meet with them myself, for bringing you into the show, especially when you get to interact with Michelle, Bryce, Yori, Lex, even Michael as well, and even Richard, for just being very for being super awesome at things. Just comes to prove
So
that
much fun.
indeed it is. Now, you remember the character Tukuma Icho in Vampire Knight, right? Or
Takema
Tukuma.
Ichijo. Takema.
You
Yeah,
remember
Takema
that character,
Ichijo.
right?
I
What what
do.
what do you like most about being in that show Vampire Knight as the voice of that character?
That was fun. He was a bit of a foppish dandy kind of thing, and I loved that. It was a lot of fun. He was just, he could have that arrogance, but it was still approachable. He just had that little air of I'm wonderful. You're fine. And you're very happy to meet me. That sort of thing. And I love that. And it was a lot of fun to do. It was a good show. It was a good show.
It must have been a good show indeed, especially when you, my friend, were able to get along with a lot of people there. such as Ezra Weiss, for example, and Mila Lee, who are right now currently getting themselves in Miraculous Ladybug, along with
Nice.
everybody else, of course. But hey, I give props to director Christy Weed for just directing you throughout the entire series, showing you that you, sir, are just one awesome person to, well, show a lot of steam to the entire show. Isn't that right, my friend?
Thank you very much. I did a lot. I
Of
did a lot.
course. Hmm. Now, Shinji Ikari in Neon Genesis Evangelion must have been the most legendary character you
Mm,
played as, right? So what made that role so special to
pretty
you?
much. The How you doing?
Oh, I see.
uh,
You have the
well,
Evangelion itself.
I, I've got. He's right behind me, checking me out. It was such an interesting role. It was one of the. It was. I think that was my third anime I ever did, third or fourth, something like that. And we back then it was an acting role. I don't say it's like, oh, you're doing an anime acting. No, I'm doing an acting role. All of it's acting. It's all acting, and that's how we approached it. And that's how I approach all my roles. I'm like, I'm acting in this role. I'm trying to be as honest and true to that character as I can be. And it was a really interesting show because Matt had the feeling that it was going to be big. He said, "This is a different show. This is something special." And the funny thing is, he didn't. We did for but this scene, it was like VHS tape. Like here's the first episode, so you can kind of get a feel for everything. So we just saw that, was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. All right, let's do it. And then from then on, we didn't get to see. So it was a really interesting ride, and yeah, we were acting our butts off and had a great time with it. And then the end, which is apparently now iconic, is the fact that we didn't know how it was going to end. While I'm in the booth, and then we do the scene, and he's like, "That's it. It's the end of the show." And I was like, "What?
Hmm.
What is it? That's it?" He's like, "Yep, that's it." I'm like, "Ah." And I said, "Open the mic. Can I say?" And then I did that rant at the end. It was completely off the cuff. It was, I didn't think it was ever gonna know it. They added it into the VHS, and it's on the it's on YouTube and all that. So yeah, it was totally honest and totally goofy and just silly.
Yeah. I see. So that's the most awesome thing to hear from you, because you playing Shinji Ikari, but is the most awesome thing ever right there. And the fun
Well,
fact
thank you.
is that some is that Casey Monto on the other hand did the character for the 2019 Netflix
Hmm.
dub, which
Yep.
honestly I have no opinions about it, not at all. It's just I respect all the voice actors equally, just by understanding their actions clearly. And you
Absolutely.
want to know the fun fact is?
Mm,
There are three routes of Evangelion that you must know about. Number one, the neutral route, which is the form of the original series. The second is the bad ending route, which took the forms of the two end of Evangelion movies that were dubbed in 2002. And the third and final route is the good ending route, which took the form of the rebuild films that you recorded back in 2008 until 2021, where you did Shinji Ikari for the last time. You know which I honestly like the best?
mm.
The good ending route because of
Yeah.
you, Spike.
Oh,
You
thank you.
and your development as Shinji, overcoming every anxiety and every obstacles and becoming a full-grown character. Finally be able to confront your father, Gendo Akari, Mr. Swayze, in the final conflict.
Yeah.
Just comes to prove that you, sir, are just good at character development when it comes to understanding our mistakes and we learn from it. That's what makes us human.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Always. And it's something that I've learned these days when it comes to watching anime. So yeah.
Yeah.
Being part of Bleach as the voice of Hanataro and D-Roy must have been so awesome, right? So what's the most coolest thing about bringing those characters into the anime show?
I love Hanataro. He is so much fun, and we had so many good goofy times with him, and so I really enjoyed that. I wish he would be more involved in the ongoing stuff, but I did a couple of things in the Thousand Year Blood War, so that was he came back a little bit, but I'd like him to have more time. He was just a lot of fun. D-Roy was fun because it was just a side character that it was like what are we going to do with this? And so I saw the character and I was like, oh, wait, he's going to talk like this. And it was just because I just saw it. I was like, obviously, he's going to talk like that. And it worked. So, yay.
He must have been so awesome. They've been so awesome to play as, right? So,
Absolutely.
let's
Absolutely.
just say that you being part of Bleach was the most best thing that has ever happened right there.
Oh,
Plus, I
thank you.
give props to the directors for bringing you in there, including Ryan Johnson, who brought you back to Thousand Year Blood War later on. And you want
Mm,
to know the best part?
mm,
The best part is that by Cur 3, I'm beginning to notice Hanataro is in the extra scenes, which weren't in the manga right there. It just comes to prove that they're giving a lot of characters justice right there. Justice, I tell you. Because if he appears in Cur 4, then you, sir, are definitely going to bring a lot of greatness to the character. Just comes to prove that the author of the Bleach series really does care about the characters and wants to redeem the franchise just by giving a lot of characters the justice they deserve. And D-Roy, on the other hand,
well,
when I played the game Rebirth of Souls, I learned that he wasn't that evil, you know. He was
yeah,
just too loyal to Grimchow to the very end, showing that he really does care. And I was like, whoa, is it me or is he not that evil at all? He's just too loyal to Grimchow to this end.
that's a possibility. I mean, it's up for interpretation.
Yeah, and that's something I've learned so far. Now, you being the character Inojin Yameka in Boruto must have been so cool to play as, right? So what's the most
Absolutely.
biggest aspect about bringing that character into Boruto?
I love Enogen. It was so much fun to do, and it was, sadly, I could only do it for I think 3 seasons because of COVID, and I was in Australia, so they had to recast me. But it was a lot of fun, and I was in the original Naruto as a couple of smaller, little characters, but having a lead in Boruto was really great, and I really enjoyed that.
Well, that's most interesting to hear from you, because all I know is that you being part of Inojin was just very awesome right there. Plus, you want to know something? I actually got to meet you, Sander Mobus himself, who did your character later on for, unknown reasons, which I seek answers from that, which, of course, I don't even care about that. I just respect all voices equally, just by understanding what they're
Of course,
capable of. So
yeah.
yeah,
Well, just
just
to,
know
to answer the
that.
question, so you said you didn't know why. So I was appearing at a convention in Australia, and then everything shut down while I was there. And so we got stuck in Australia during COVID for 2 years. So I was over there and trying to figure out how I'm going to do voiceover, while everything shut down. So that was a difficult situation because people were still recording in LA at the time. And so it just got to the point where it was too difficult for me to record from Australia. And so they recast me. They recast first, I think Colin McCarley did maybe a movie or a video game part. And then they recast I guess Sander. So yeah, but that was the end of me being Enojin. It was because I was over there for 2 years,
I
and
see.
but I still was able to do Evangelion
Yeah,
and a few
that's,
other things.
I
Once I got my
understand.
studio set up over there in my apartment. Yeah,
I see.
that was a wild trip.
I understand now. But you know what?
Yeah.
Whatever happens, you will always be remembered as the true voice of Inojin himself. That
Oh,
is,
thank you.
well, it's what I do. Supporting you and everybody else has always been my thing. So yeah,
Well, we appreciate it.
my pleasure. Now, you being part of Star Ocean Second Evolution as the voice of Clyde C. Kenny must have been the most coolest character you played as, right? So what's your most favorite thing about voicing that character throughout the entire video game?
I love that. Now, here's the thing though. Star Ocean, so there was Star Ocean and Star Ocean 2, or is it? I'm trying to remember because one of them was done and I didn't do it. It's a weird part. It's like I have to look that up because there was a Star Ocean. I was Claude Kinney, and that was the series I thought with Richard Epcar was directing. Cool, fun side note. So the guy who was the engineer was, whenever you're in the booth, there's outtakes and goofy noises and all that stuff. And the engineer was taking those outtakes and putting them in a reel as we went along. So, like at the end of a few episodes, he put it all together in one long loop. And it was hysterical. It was nothing but outtakes and burp noises and weird blah, 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 funky noises and stuff like that. But yeah, so I remember there was something, it was like a Star Ocean, another thing that happened like what, 5 years ago or something like that.
Hmm.
It says I did it, but I didn't do it. I'm, I, I don't know what happened there. Um, yeah, that was a question that I had because I saw I got the credit for it, and I'm wondering if they just pulled, old lines from the first one and redid it. I don't know.
Hmm. Trust me on this. They've had YouTube videos of yourself showing a lot of lines and everything. Especially this one clip that I saw
Mm,
that you and Eden Regal ended up confronting Richard Epcar, the final boss, Gabriel, in the final conflict,
yeah,
which comes to prove that you,
yeah.
sir, as the main protagonist of the game, is the most biggest aspect that will making you into someone super awesome in a way. And that's
Oh,
why
thank you,
I've come
mate.
to,
I appreciate it.
well, it's what I do best, always, giving you a lot of greatness to the entire video game franchise, of course. Now, without
Thank
further
you.
ado, Subaru Togosa in Doraria must have been the most awesome character you played as, right? So what's the most awesome thing about being in Doraria as the voice of Subaru?
So, was Saburo
Subaru,
Durarara?
yes.
That's okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I drove the van. Right. Okay. Yeah. I drove the van. And it was funny because Steve Bloom did the character that was with me in the van. And we had so many great little back and forth. And Steve's just absolutely brilliant. And it was just a fun character to play. I mean, the van was the most important thing in his life, period. It didn't matter what was going on. Don't mess with my van, man. Um, Fun little fact, Durarara, I was the lead in Durarara for 1 hour. I was. And then I think Daryl got it, right? And it was Daryl
Yeah, it was
Gilbert.
Daryl.
Yeah. So I had it for 1 hour. I remember we were recording and they were like, you know what, Spike? I just I don't think you're right for this role. And I'm like, okay, cool. That happens. But we'll put you in something else in the series. But I think we're gonna have to wrap on this. I have a feeling I just need something different. I was like, okay, totally cool. Because that's my job. If they don't like it, great. I can give you different voices. I got about 100 of them. I can just off the top of my head. But all right, whatever. So and then I came back as Saburo, and but it was funny because I did have the lead for about an hour.
Wow. I
Yeah.
did not know that you originally be casted as that main character till right now. But now I know. That it's
There you
all part
go.
of the
True
process of
story.
casting. So,
Yep.
yeah, I give props to a lot of people who directed you, such as Kirk Thornton, Patrick Seitz, and Alex Von David for directing you throughout the entire series right there.
All
Plus,
awesome fellas.
you want to know something? That
Hmm.
for Alex Von David right now, he just finished wrapping things up with this anime show called Dan Da Dan, which is on
Yeah.
Netflix right now. You watch
Nice.
that and you'll be like, "Oh my God, this is awesome."
Alex is awesome. Alex is
Yes,
awesome. All
yes
those guys.
indeed.
I miss them, but I'm out here in Texas now.
I see. Now, you being part of the video game franchise Blaze Blue as the voice of Khan must have been the most, well, how do I say this? Like, all right, terrifying, but very cool character you played as, right? So what's the
Yeah.
most biggest thing when you were brought into Blaze Blue voicing that character?
Well, here's the funny thing. So when I first got it, they were calling the character Arachne. And then I came back and reprised the role and they called him Arakune. And so I'm like, I don't know, whatever. But when I auditioned for that role, it was weird because the script had red and black and stuff. I'm like, what's going on with this? And he said, well, you're going to read the line, and then we're going to digitally take out those the red because the way you speak is stop, start, stutter, kind of weird, funky thing. I said, well, why don't I just do it? And they went, what? Yeah, why don't I just drop those? And they go, oh, okay, let's go. And so I read it, and I just draw every time I saw the red, and think up because you can see. And they were like, okay, you got it. um, so yeah, that was that. They were gonna do something. I saved them some time, which was fun. But it was a great character, man. I had a lot of fun with that. I really did. So creepy and so cool. People always say it's like, oh, so what do you really specialize in anime? I said, go, well, effeminate little girly boys who save the world in a biomechanical robot, or psychopaths.
Oh
I'm like,
my.
one of the two, pick it out. So yeah, I find the psychopaths much more interesting.
Well, that's very interesting to hear from you. Because
Of
all I
course.
know is that you being part of Blaze Blue must have been super awesome right there. Plus, I give props to Patrick Seitz for literally directing you in that video game franchise. And the best part, he even brought you into Fire Emblem and pretty much a bunch of other projects that are yet to come. So yeah, that's why I've come to know about you being part of that game so well.
Lovely. I love working with Patrick. He's great.
Yes, he is. I even got to meet him myself right there.
He's awesome.
Yes, he is. Now, there's just one more question in a quick way due to the time limit, but you being part of Bungle Stray Dogs must have been so awesome, right? So, what's the most coolest thing when being part of that anime show as the voice of Jinichiro?
Junichiro.
Yes.
I love. It's so funny because I think the funniest part is his relationship with his sister, which is very bizarre, very bizarre. And I find his call out is my one of my favorites. It's like light snow. I'm like, what? What is that? And he's just a delightfully goofy. Was it Junichiro Tanizaki, right? I think it's it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love that. And that was one of the more recent ones that I've done. I did that a couple years ago, I think. And they
Yes.
might have another one. Who knows? I mean, if another one comes out, I'm available. They know where I am. So I hope to reprise all of these roles in the future. I'd love to do it. I've got a studio here, and I'm ready to go.
And that's the whole idea that should
That's
happen
right.
eventually. Because, hey, you being part of that show was the most genius move that the voice directors has ever done, including Suzanne herself. Plus,
Wow.
you want to know the best part? I
Hmm.
got to meet Max Middleman himself, who Max, on the other hand, he's been a big fan of my YouTube channel for years, and I inspired him to do everything that I do. And that
Nice.
and the best part? He helped me reunite me with Robbie Damon and Ray Chase after 4 years, and they all
Wow.
loved my voice acting performance I showed them,
Nice.
telling me that this is real acting. They should consider wanting me to be their leader one day. They said it
Nice.
themselves, so yeah.
Nice. Great guys, all of them.
Yes, they are. Well, Spike, it's such an honor to finally meeting you. and that meeting you is the one thing to help me understand things clearly about you and your voice acting, and that my desire to working with you in the voice acting industry will eventually come when I finally succeed on what I'm about to do eventually. And my videos for you, it will eventually bring a lot of good expectations that are yet to come.
Well, beautiful. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Always. There's one more thing I wanted to ask you before I
Yeah.
go. But when people look back on your work, how do you want to be remembered as a voice actor?
I've had something that I've always said. My wife says, what's your goal? When in life, you write down a goal. You write down what is your purpose, what is your mission in life, and mine is to bring laughter and inspiration to millions. That's always what I've said, whether it's through my acting, through public speaking, through coaching, through whatever it is. I just want people to remember that, hey, you know what? I had fun doing what I did, and I hope you enjoyed what I did because it was all done from the heart with the best of my ability to bring that character to life as best I could. And that's pretty much it.
Wow, what a good way, but honest way to show that you, sir, are just someone too special that I'm willing to work with in the near future. And that's why my support to you will always be absolute. And no matter what happens, I will continue supporting you in every way, and not just you, but your whole family as well, including your wife, Kimberly, as well. So
Well, thank you.
is that is what I'm truly capable of.
Well, great. Thank you, Sebastian. I appreciate it.
Always. Well, Spike, it's nice to finally meet you, and I just hope you do something very awesome.
I will continue to do my best.
Of course. And I hope to see you in the near future in, well, either in Bleach Thousand Year Blood War Curve 4 due to your character, or in person whenever you attend to a convention by all means. So yeah, that's all to say about it.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you so much for the interview.
Of course. And I'll be posting it through YouTube and social media.
Fabulous.
Of course.
All the
Take
best
care,
to you.
Spike.
Bye bye.
Bye. Want to keep up with my journey? Follow me on social media for more updates, behind the scenes moments, and all the fun along the way.